Radiant team ban.
Okay, hello everybody and welcome back to the AMDPL Premier League second season. I'm Basekip and this is still part of our first round of games, our first best of 3 of the night, and the first game of this best out of 3 is going to be J.E.T Gaming up against J.E.T team. I believe the qualifier winners from Indonesia, J.E.T Gaming being one of our invited teams. Again, I'm Basekip, I'm here in association with J.E.T to provide some coverage of this event, and joining me today will be Tux. So I've got a co-caster this time around. Tux, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm very good. I'm really grateful for you having me here, and I really enjoy being with you. And we have two teams, J.E.T Gaming and J.E.T team. And if I'm not mistaken, it's going to be first game that we will see ZSMJ playing support. And FY is going to transition into carry mode. So that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I think
have any background on J.E.T?
J.E.T team, I've casted them previously. I wouldn't be able to tell you about any of their accomplishments or anything like that off the top of my head. On that note about the J.E.T Gaming roster announcement that was made, I believe that was a translated, well, you know, what is effectively a tweet, and it wasn't necessarily... They haven't necessarily changed the situation. I feel like if we're going to see it, this would probably be the first game, but I think that was also just, you know, speculating more than speculating about roster changes as opposed to that being anything fixed. We'll have to see in this game. It would definitely be interesting, and as some people pointed out, ZSMJ would be following the path of a lot of other carries that became supports and then became legends on the support role as well, the likes of 820 and things like that. So definitely a possibility. But J.E.T Gaming going to start us off with a ban on Batrider and Alchemist and J.E.T team, getting rid of Visage and OD, so Darkseer is going to make it through, along with, I would say, Shadow Demon, Wisp, and anything else that I'm missing, Tux?
Maybe a Furion. Maybe a Furion, well, because we've seen this teams picking up Furion like a Mushi. He likes to go with his Furion.
10 seconds.
But there's no Mushi, and we can't predict what J.E.T is gonna pick because we don't know what they're like. So let's talk about the Darkseer, which is a really great pick. He can go almost everywhere. We have seen people go middle with Darkseer because when you're Radiant, you have the easy camp. You can stack that in lane. You can go off lane, which is where most people go. If you can dodge the off lane, you can go jungle, which then again most people do. And you can go safe lane while your team goes to the off lane, but you don't actually get that much room. And being in safe lane while solo Darkseer, you don't get that much room in tower because there's a little corridor there that you can hide from tower attacks. Really little, and it's so annoying. And J.E.T picks a Nyx Assassin and Nature's Prophet, so Nature's Prophet, there you go. And the Nyx Assassin, which will probably go for a support role, as I assume.
Yeah, so J.E.T team going to pick up the Nyx Assassin and the Prophet. We've got Lifestealer for J.E.T Gaming. There is, I'm actually surprised to see the Enchantress as the ban for J.E.T here. I mean, I'm not sure if J.E.T team necessarily have any kind of pocket strat relating to the Enchantress, but also surprised to see that they're going to be the ones to ban out the Shadow Demon here, because they don't really have any amazing responses to Lifestealer just yet. This might be moving us in the direction perhaps of an aggressive tri-lane, but an aggressive tri-lane against Lifestealer maybe not the best idea, so yeah, we'll see where we head, because I feel like J.E.T team just don't really have anything going on against the Nakes, and they will need something. I mean, there's a ton of anti-Lifestealer heroes in the pool. There's, you know, Bane, Naga Siren, things like that, but I'm surprised that J.E.T team choose to get rid of the Shadow Demon here.
Yeah, especially when you're going against a Darkseer, because, well, if he searches, you can disrupt him, and there you go, there's no Darkseer. That's really strange of a ban. Basically, you can counter to both the heroes of J.E.T Gaming. Maybe they studied J.E.T Gaming so hard that they know that J.E.T Gaming loves to run their Shadow Demon, so they just ban it. And we see Clockwork ban, which counters Lifestealer-ish. Don't get the knockback back from the rage anymore, but it still cuts you off from the other team. And we have Ant-Mage and Enchantress.
Storm Spirit is alive.
So
they're afraid of the fun ending here.
Yeah, nobody wants their fun to end.
Wisp.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Wisp,
And-
and you've expressed surprise coming from the European scene, saying that,
yeah.
why is Wisp making it so late in these drafts? Jolie team, we have definitely seen them playing some Wisp previously. I don't know if it's been super effective, if I'm being honest about what I remember from their play. But they've got a lot of global presence with the Nature's Prophet and the Wisp, and I think the Clockwork ban makes a little bit more sense, maybe in the context of picking up the Wisp now. If they want to take a Wisp partner, they can grab it pretty much straight away. But again, I mean, Lifestealer as the enemy carry is difficult to is difficult at best to gank with even a CK Wisp relocate. So we'll see what this is moving towards right now, because again I feel like the big problem is just not a lot of responses to the Lifestealer just yet, and mobility is not going to be a problem for Nate 'cause he's got his best buddy Storm Spirit along for the ride to drop him off in the middle of the fight, and even Darkseer can help prevent Lifestealer being kited around too much. So Jolie team, let's see what they can. Well, we'll see what they grab in their carry and number 2 position to have at least some small response against the Lifestealer. There is still a Gyrocopter in the pool, I suppose, and Call Down a weak way to deal with Nakes raging around, but still not that bad.
Dire team ban.
Yeah, and you're not gonna gank a Storm Spirit with that Wisp, so I don't know. We'll see what they have to do. And currently, they don't really have enough power to gank with people. I mean, Wisp can pick up a Nyx Assassin, but that's currently not
10
that bad,
seconds remaining.
not that good. But when you look at it, you have a Queen of Pain that's very
5
mobile with
seconds
blinks,
remaining.
and you have Nature's Prophet who can teleport all over the place. So they're looking at this pick-off kind of lineup that hopefully will win them their game. But you cannot gank a Lifestealer who has immunity.
Radiant team ban.
You can try and gank the Darkseer, but then again you have like one stun in your whole team that is an assassin. And of course there's stun, but that's not really that reliable. Darkseer can just surge away. Storm Spirit can zip away. Well, you can gank Rubik, but that's not really that much of a gank target.
10
He,
seconds
he's not the one you want to gank.
It's not a big
Of course you
win
can pick
killing
him.
off the Ruby.
Yeah, you can pick him
5
off, and that's
seconds
what
remaining.
100 gold for your team. 250 for you if you kill him. But he's not the priority you need to sell.
Reserve time.
So we'll see what the J.E.T team has to offer. Because currently they have one stun, which is good against Storm Spirit. You're gonna burn him. But you will not catch out Lifestealer or anyone else,
Dire
basically.
team
Just
Yeah.
have to sell with one stun.
I'm surprised
And
that Joe.
we see-
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know why they banned
Yeah.
Leshrac over banning Lina, honestly, because I feel like Rubik Lina is a very strong combo to run against the Queen of Pain, because it's almost a self-contained kill. If Lina has level 6, you come in, you lift, you don't even move the Queen of Pain, you just drop Light Strike Array immediately in Fade Bolt and Laguna, and that's pretty much quap down. So I mean the Leshrac can be more of a nuisance as far as the pushes are concerned, but I feel like Vici Gaming still have that Lina there if they want it. And Jolie team, what are we going to be seeing as far as the? I'm interested to see what the carry is going to be here. I mean, they've got the global strat, so maybe something like a Spectre, but they've got the Wisps. They can really take whoever they want and bring them along. So we'll see what they end up finding. I hope they don't fall into the
Well, the
trap of picking
traditional-
Tiny.
The traditional partner for the Wisp are Sven, Tiny, CK, right? But
Rookie,
there
PA.
can be exceptions. There can be a Gyro. Well, I'm saying there you go, Tiny.
Radiant team.
I almost feel like they're inviting Vici Gaming to go aggressive here. Nyx Assassin, Wisp, and Tiny is not the greatest. Defensive tri-lane. It's okay, but it's not great. Tiny really needs levels. If you put pressure on him, that slows him down. And okay, so Vici Gaming not going to be going for the aggressive tri-lane, just snagging the Chen here. But Jolie team not really with the option to go aggressive themselves, and looks like Vici just going to go for a bit of a push. Chen also a nice response to the Wisp. Just having that Hand of God ready can help bail people out, and just so long as you can survive the relocate gank, then you're fine. So. And Vici, I think they're going to be looking to roam the Chen and the Rubik pretty aggressively, just to try and help out the Storm Spirit on mid, because she's not really tipped to win that 1v1 against the Storm. How do you feel about that matchup?
Well, Storm Spirit against Queen of Pain. Well, it can go both ways actually. Storm Spirit has a really great attack damage to this Queen of Pain. Maybe the Queen of Pain's harassment is quite better than Storm Spirit, but Storm Spirit is naturally more tankier than Queen of Pain. And again, they both have escape mechanisms, so
5
ganks
seconds
shouldn't be that much of a problem in coming in mid game. But it really depends on the situation on how they are gonna initiate.
Yeah. Tux, could you
And
just
we have
make
the
sure that
instant pause.
yeah, could you make sure that your microphone is open in game?
Well, it should be open.
I'm getting a
It's
couple of
open.
messages in the stream chat that's saying that it's. Are you getting the little bubble popping up?
Yeah. There's there's the green bubble. I mean the white
Okay.
bubble, and there's green sliders.
Okay. Just toggle crowd
Off and off?
broadcasters. Yeah, like off on. The microphone stuff is still a little bit buggy. So, yeah. Hopefully we can get that sorted
Maybe-
out, guys.
We'll try.
Okay. So anyway, guys.
It should be working.
Okay, so welcome back to the game, welcome back to the AMD Premier League, welcome back to our second season, and welcome to Round 1. This is our second day of Round 1, and it's going to be J.E.T team up against Vici Gaming in a best out of 3. We are currently Game 1. Over on the side of J.E.T team, we're going to have Legendary. On the Nyx Assassin, it's going to be Kiosh on the Tiny. We've got Domination playing the Nature's Prophet. We've got Minerva on the Wisp, and that is going to leave Don Chuan to play the Queen of Pain. And Tux, could you please run us over what's going on the side of Vici Gaming?
Vici Gaming! The Life Stealer is going to be played by FY, which was formerly a support player, so there you go.
So they are going to be running.
Have
They are going to be running FY as the
Yeah.
carry now. I'm very interested to see how this is going to work out.
Yeah,
Anyway, keep going.
yeah. Well, there was ZSMJ on his Chen. We have Darkseer playing Tutu. We have Rubik on Fenrir, or Fenrir on Rubik, and AZ as our Storm Spirit, the fat level low.
Yeah.
Makes
So that's CTY.
Is he? Well,
Yeah.
no, yeah, it's CTY, whatever. It's AZ, CTY. And he's making a line of his remnants. I think I found the problem. My headset was not facing the
30
right way.
seconds to battle.
Okay.
So I hope everything's fixed right now. And, well, we see defensive trialing, of course, from the Dire team. And it seems like Tutu is going to be offlaning with the Darkseer. And he's not going to abandon the top lane, making him, well, be a nuisance towards the support of the Dire team. But we'll see how it goes. Maybe he will be balls enough to come in the lane, grab EXP. Maybe if the
The battle
the
begins.
Tiny misses some last hits, he can snag off some of his own.
Hmm.
And he's gonna get a history, which will help him now tremendously.
I like the decision, honestly, because Tiny's base armor is absolutely garbage, and seeing the Nyx Assassin and the Wisp, it's two supports who both really want levels. So if Tutu can block the camp a couple of times, and even just being here with the Ion Shell, it deters the supports from pulling too much, because if the creep wave pushes into the tower, then things get very difficult for Tiny. When you've got such bad base damage, oh, Stun's gonna miss to start things off. Tutu wants this creep wave really badly. Legendary are gonna try it. They're gonna try and aggro down to the spawn camp. They will get the range creep back, but also Tutu gonna get a bit of a wave to start. But I really like this decision because, as you can see, Kiosh, without a stout shield, Tiny is already just taking a beating from the creeps underneath the tower, and just having the Darkseer here is gonna be a bit of a deterrent to running too many pulls, and it means that one of the supports has to sit in the lane and try and fight him. And the Nyx Assassin can't really do it, so that means that the Wisp can't be the one running pulls, and Tutu's presence in the lane is just gonna keep the Wisp a little bit under-leveled on the whole. So I think good decision making. It might end up backfiring. Tiny can definitely combo Darkseer down if he gets the levels, so Tutu is gambling a little bit by being here. But I think I agree with the decision. Would you say the same, Tux?
Yeah. Well, you can't a melee hero cannot harass a melee hero, which is Darkseer. And we see the Dire team blocking off the hard camp of the Dire jungle, making Darkseer's pulls less effective, which there will be none, actually. But the Darkseer could have actually done something cool, which was pull a bit the initial creep wave and block the full camp with himself or the creeps or the enemy heroes. And then just run away from that, and you basically have two creep waves, one which was following you and the next following one. And since the Radiant creep wave was already at the tower, the creep wave would have merged, and there will be two creep waves instead. Darkseer could have gotten 2 times the creep wave he would have had. Then again, he got like 3 creeps, now he's level 2, which is really good because he's offlane.
Yeah,
Now
so
we have
Tutu's doing fine.
He's keeping up with the Nature's Prophet, who will eventually run stronger because he's having inconsistent farm in the jungle. But yeah, but it's about the same actually.
And how do you
There's
feel
some
about
variables.
like Personally, now my preference for an offlane / jungle Nature's Prophet is actually the Nature's Prophet. They're gonna jump Tutu here. Can they do anything else though? No. So they make an attempt, but it doesn't end up being a kill. But going back to that thought about the Nature's Prophet, personally, my preference now is to see the Nature's Prophet active on the offlane, using the treants to try and block off the pull camp from the supports, because most carries will lose control of the wave and sort of give you quite a bit of experience anyway. And you can be a real nuisance with those treants. You can, not only spot the Chen rotating across, you can block this big camp. You can, keep putting treants on the magic bush. You can really prevent the Vici supports from getting anything. So, Domination, he has to get a lot out of this early farm. We have a drag back on mid. Queen of Pain in a little bit of trouble. As far as this mid lane is concerned, CTY is actually leading pretty heavily, and First Blood's going to end up being drawn bot top lane as I look away for a second. Domination now TPing in to be able to kill off Tutu, so I'd like the offlane decision making. He does manage to snag level 4 as that creep wave pushes in, but does end up dropping. But yeah, do you think it's worth it? Yeah, he's going to go straight back.
Well, there's the difference. I mean, the J.E.T team is running triple carry, well, 3-core lineup. They can easily exploit the strength of Nature's Prophet with this, which is more than enough, more than mediocre jungling. He gets CHP farm and levels. While you're offlane, you may be shutting down their supports, but you cannot shut down a Chen, and your doesn't really care much about being in the lane, harassing the Furion, so he just gets some farm. He can carry a late game because they will need all they can get against the Storm Spirit, which with their 1 stun, well 2 stun if you count Tiny, but it's very weak. They're not gonna have all the control. You need the Hex, maybe you need the Orchid against Silence against the Storm Spirit. Basically, you need all the items you can get, you need all the farm you can get on the Storm Spirit so you can survive the mid game, because look at the CS score at the moment. Nyx is 31 CS.
Yeah, Nyx is getting really big really quickly, and Storm Spirit with the assistance of this Chen creep on mid. I feel like, okay, this is just a hunch, but I feel like CTY might actually be the one in control of the creep, or it's just some really good micro there from ZSMJ, but looks like we need a quick pause. But he's just left the Satyr on mid. I think he actually threw another one there as well, and while things started off pretty even as far as his mid lane was concerned, CTY is now pulling a long way ahead. He's 28 for 5, up against the 14 for 5 on the Queen of Pain. So we're even in terms of denies, but Storm Spirit has double the last hits now. And that's not the situation that the co-op wants to be in, especially since Rubik is just non-stop pulling, getting himself some good levels, so he's going to be a threat as far as ganking her. And I mean, Vici, things go a little bit lopsided on top lane as Tutu does end up dropping, but I think things on the whole looking pretty good. Gold's in their favor, and experience is about 2k. So as we head towards the mid game, it looks like Tiny's really going to need some space to catch up. And where does the burden lie now on J.E.T team? Who needs to try and pick up the slack? Because right now, I mean, Tiny and Queen of Pain don't look like they're going to be super active.
The Queen of Pain needs to step up his game. He needs to make something happen. Yes, you maybe are losing the middle lane, but please don't die. You need to gank maybe. Look, Darkseid had died 1 time, but look what damage he's doing. He's so disrupting the Tiny's farm. Look, 10 CS, that's less than a support Rubik has been pulling. And, well, just pulling. Basically, he has less than an offlane Darkseid when you have 3 people just stopping him farm. You need to do something with the Queen of Pain, because your lane is the least affected one. Yeah, of course, you have a Furion who is jungling, but he won't be effective until he maybe picks up Shao Blade, maybe a phase that has quite well likes to do, but you can't expect him to do anything in the next 5-10 minutes, the Furion. So the Queen of Pain really needs to abuse the fact that she is the one hero that need to kill everybody. You just need to exploit her. You need to use her, not sexually.
Yeah, I mean, you need to use the early nuking potential as much as you possibly can. And Queen of Pain, very much a quintessential snowball hero. So if you don't get those early kills, then you can quickly fall behind. And I mean, both the Storm Spirit and the Queen of Pain, both incredibly efficient gankers, and if one of them ends up falling behind significantly, then they can start looking a little bit lackluster as far as the late game is concerned. We do have players still disconnected, so waiting around for that. And I think I have to agree that Nature's Prophet, I mean, he's not going to be active for a while, but he's going to have to maybe start looking towards it a little bit earlier than normal. I think it's still not going to interrupt his overall game plan too much. Hand of Midas, Shadowblade, you know, maybe we see a mech from him somewhere along the way. But yeah, J.E.T team, they picked up the very greedy Tiny Wisp, and it's not really paying off though. Minerva is actually a very high level, 4.5 right now. So we might even just see Tiny, okay, accept the fact that he doesn't have very good farm, but maybe the relocate ganks are going to be enough to sort of get him into this.
And the Pop of Pain is drawing an angry Asian man. Well, a disappointed Asian man. Anyway, Tiny Wisp is a really potent combo. They can burst down the weak spots of the Radiant team. You have Rubik, who has very low HP, you have Chen. Of course there's a heal, but you cannot use your heal when you're dead right now, can you? Yeah. But the thing is, the Storm Spirit is getting so much that you're not gonna stop the snowball that he will have when he finishes the Orchid. You have the Queen of Pain is gonna melt. Also the Furion. The Storm Spirit is such a great counter against the Furion because you rely on your basically positioning, and Storm Spirit disrupts every position you can make, making you, the Storm Spirit, getting 3 kills on the Furion.
Yeah, and Don is just playing this mid lane so terrified right now. He's seen that Storm Spirit is now level 6, and he knows that if he's on 300 HP, that Storm Spirit is just going to jump him and kill him. So he gets some tangos delivered. He's going to have the Nyx Assassin lurking behind him, just to try and back him up. But this isn't what Nyx really wants to be doing. Minerva, I think he just got tossed on top of Darkseer there, looking for another kill on Tutu, but it's not going to end up connecting. One cute thing that you can do is you can toss the Wisp and get the guaranteed tether stun. But looks like not quite getting it there. So J.E.T team definitely falling behind in terms of farm. Tiny is still having a really tough time against the Darkseer. And Vici Gaming Fenrir already making his way over towards mid. Double damage going to be picked up here by CTY. Dawn gets the nuke out. He's got the Sonic Wave ready. Now Legendary going to walk around. Stun out. Can they turn around? Sonic Wave. That's going to be it. Fenrir walking in just a little bit too late to do anything. And actually, I've only just noticed this now, but Dawn not choosing a very aggressive build at all. Not a single point in Shadow Strike. I mean, often I feel like we'd see Queen of Pain going for maybe, at the very least 1, sometimes 2, depending on playstyle, against the Storm Spirit, but in this case, Dawn, right from the word go, just playing the lane super defensively. And do you feel it's the right move? Yes, the Chen creep was there harassing him, but he has given a lot of farm to the Storm without really putting on that much pressure.
You basically know that you're not gonna kill the Storm Spirit, at least in the laning stage, so there's a chance he's gonna disrupt everything you might do to him. And if you do some harassment, he's just gonna send him back, so he's just saving that skill point at this point. Maybe he'll need it afterwards when he gains some slow heroes such as a Rubik. But right now, he couldn't kill the Storm Spirit, and the harassment is really, really low. Because the Radiant team, VG, are controlling the runes. I mean, I think so. I mean, they could. They have a Chen who's gonna control the runes. So, Storm Spirit is just gonna negate every single damage you've done to him. So, I mean, it's justified. It's really justified.
Yeah, I think
his playstyle.
I think it's fair
enough. He can make it work.
Yeah, I think I think it's fair.
dying there was just too balls of a maneuver. He wanted to get a pick off to that double damage, but he ended up dying. Still, he has double the CS of Queen of Pain, so that death wasn't really that good, but hey, you can't blame him for that, right?
Yeah, I mean, and J.E.T, good job setting him back just a little bit, and do kind of need to look to do that. Again, snowball hero like the Storm Spirit, anything that you can do to slow him down a little bit is fantastic. We have a bunch of sentry wards thrown down middle lane and top side. Okay, so I feel like this is gonna happen a bit with the Tiny combo, you know.
Middle lane.
Oh, and mid lane. God, I'm missing some kills here. So they're gonna jump the Rubik. They get down Fenrir on mid, top side. Kiosh does drop the combo on Tutu's head, and down he goes. Bottom lane. FY picks up the last hit on the tower. So I've missed a couple of kills, guys. Sorry about that one. But yeah, Tutu drops again top, and Kiosh, despite not doing too well in terms of CS, now he's got some kills. They've got the relocate ready. And he's got more or less the crucial levels. I mean, he's got 3 toss, 2 avalanche. Would prefer to have some more, but can still look to maybe relocate on the Rubik now that he's respawned and pick up some more kills, farm their way back into the game that way.
Yeah. Well, J.E.T. looking very strong at this point. Maybe not in the CS wise,
Dire's
but
top tower
they're
is
picking up
under
the kills,
attack.
which can cause them to snowball even harder than with CS.
Relocate going
see-
top side, but it's not going to do too much. They're going to toss the Wisp over the top. They get the tether stun, but Avalanche not quite enough on Tutu. Maneuver once the right click. Salve popping up. He's still alive. Tutu with the jukes. Now Kiosh in some trouble. Back behind the tower. Wisp waiting for the bailout and will be able to escape, but Vici Gaming, they were waiting for that one. Legendary going to walk in, looks towards FY, but he doesn't actually have rage. Going to get brought down by Sonic Wave there. So J.E.T. team, they get the. I don't even know if that's the. If that's the. If that's just a. I don't know. I think that really makes up for the kill. I'm looking for a word. I can't remember what it is.
Dire's top tower is under
The
attack.
trade?
No.
I mean, they killed the Tiny, they killed his...
Yeah.
Um,
Tiny in exchange for
Fine.
lifestealing, not bad.
yeah. But the thing, the Wisp played it badly. He had 3 levels of balls, but he didn't use the ball. Where's the ball? He couldn't kill
Yeah.
them. There were no balls.
And every single
That's
time you
only-
go for the relocate gank, you should have not only a set of spirits that are just about to expire, but also a set that you
A new
summon
set.
right after. So yeah, you should be getting 2 full sets of spirit damage down on your target. Oh, Storm Spirit rolls in, grabs the haste turn, and looks like it's going to be it. Domination does have Sprout, but Storm's just going to roll straight over the top. Very aggressive play there from C2Y, but going to go unpunished. And I'm still, I can't think of what the word I was trying to think of before. But anyway, we'll leave that. We'll leave that behind for now. Kiosh makes his way up. He's got the combo ready. Fenrir, what's the steal? It is going to be Avalanche. Tosses him towards Tutu. Prophet Ultimate bouncing through. Tutu going to try and TP out, but they stun him up, and that's going to be it on top side. J.E.T. team, their turn to bring 5 up to the lane. And we'll be able to pick up 2 kills from it. They're currently leading by 6. They are behind in terms of gold, but for the first time in the game, going to move the experience back onto their side.
Dire's
So
middle tower is
Vici
under
Gaming just going to try and turn it into a push on the
Dire's
middle lane.
structures are fortified.
But yeah, J.E.T. team, great map movement from them. They've got another relocate ready if they want to try and def mid. We'll see if they do so. Looks like no, Domination's just down on bot, but he's got the TP ready. So I feel like J.E.T. team could even go for this one. We'll see if they can maybe find a
Dire's
Picnic
middle
Assassin.
tower has fallen.
Moving into position right now. But
Chen is saving up so much gold. He has 2.1 5D gold.
this MJ is
Maybe
very
that's-
fine.
Maybe
His
he's
carry
going for
instincts
a
kicking
Bing
back
Dagger?
in. His
Yeah, definitely. He needs a buyback and another set of items.
yeah.
So-
Never buy anything unless if you're not gonna have buyback up. That's the carry way.
Radiant's top
But
tower
that's
is
gonna be a
under
pretty quick
attack.
mech for him
I
if he
think-
wants it.
I think you should make an arcane boost just because there's a storm spirit. You need to support that guy. Well, there's another pause happening. This time from the Wisp player.
Yeah.
Actually, they should. Yeah?
I'm kind of surprised that Darkseer is going for the mech as opposed to the Chen. So I don't actually know what Chen's going to be buying here. Maybe Necrobook instead, because yeah, Darkseer has the mech under control. Most of the time when we see this pairing, it would be Darkseer, maybe Arcane Boots into a pipe and Chen going for the mech. And I'm actually surprised again because Tutu has been dying, and Chen has just been safe farming up, and I feel like the mech is more valuable. So I mean, what do you make of it? I feel like it should probably be Darkseer with the, maybe he's got the buckler recipe, so I think it's definitely going to be a mech.
Yeah. Well, it frees up the items that ZXMG can make. He can make an Aghanims for that 30 seconds cooldown of global heal, so your team can go aggressively retarded. They can go everywhere they want, and they will be healed back in the buff. Then again, Darkseer needs items as well, and because he died like 3 times now, well, maybe he's making the mecha just because he would survive the games. So maybe it's just he's playing selfishly. But basically, you want that Aghanims on the Chen against such a lineup. Look, they have Wisp and Tiny. As long as you can heal your team as much as possible, that's what you're aiming for as a Chen, and in this game, helping your team to survive the Wisp Tiny ganks.
Yeah, I think the Aghanim Scepter is definitely a good option for ZSMJ. And if he keeps up this rate of farm, then he shouldn't. It shouldn't be too low. I'd expect to see maybe one item in between somewhere, just because, you know, similar to the Quap Ags, where if you get it and you're only level, you know, you're level 11, you're not really getting the full utility out of it necessarily, especially with Chen's mana pool with a naked Ags. But yeah, things looking pretty good for ZSMJ. Meanwhile, Vici gonna move heroes back towards the top side. They have taken the tier 1 towers in the other lane, so for Jet, things get kind of obvious as to where they're going. And yeah, so Chen's going to pick up some arcanes, and the point boost looks like it's going to be straight towards the Ags from this point forward. But Vici, they don't have CTY there. There haven't been any TPs to the top lane, so he'll be able to get there straight away if something does start. Domination, same story for him. He is actually going to be working his way towards the mech, having picked up the Hand of Midas, so starting to pick up some effectiveness. And looks like fight may be about to break out. We do have Dawn just lurking around in the middle lane. BKB is going to be the rush for him. Jet sitting behind the tower. They pop off the Vendetta. But the Skeleton Army makes its way in, and looks like that's going to be a TP. Now making its way up. Can they get a punish? They're not looking for the relocate over the top. Vici still moving as a unit. Fenrir going to move off to the side. He gets stunned up. Now in trouble. He's going to be brought down. Legendary is hit by the Troll Trap, but that's going to be it. Vici. It looks like... I feel like they almost said, Fenrir, just run into the enemy team and let the rest of us get away, because otherwise that could have gone badly. I mean, there's a chance that Nature's Prophet TPs in on the back, catches somebody, then they've also got the relocate. So Fenrir ends up kind of being the sacrificial lamb, and Jet gonna look to turn this into a push of their own, but I think that's gonna end up being it now.
Have you seen what happened? The Queen of Queen TP'd in, and she was walking, and ZSMJ with his centaur, he stomped 3 heroes. He stunned 3 heroes. He stunned 3 heroes. And, well, yeah, the Rubik was a sacrificial lamb, but the 4 heroes managed to escape that one. And they delayed every single damage they could have got on the whole team. Evading a team fight, because, look, they're ahead in kills. They have more items than you. Well, they should have more items than you. But, oh my, that was really great micro from CSMJ. And at this point, I see his transition to support is really paying off.
Yeah,
I mean,
so far so good.
I'm not blaming his carry skills, but he makes the support. He knows how to play support after those long years of playing a carry, and he had been with supports. And there's gonna be a Nyx scouting for Nyx.
Yeah, and the relocate's coming in as well. They're gonna throw the stun. They don't get the backstab damage, but straight into the toss. And the avalanche combo perfectly done there. Fenrir steals the carapace, gets the lift, thrown back down, but Domination also making his way in. They get the tether stun. Fenrir in some trouble. It's a big dive underneath the tower. Kiosh in some trouble. CTY rolling forward. They do pick up the kill. It's 2 for 1 so far. One more stun out of the CTY. Sonic Wave over the top. Does clip both there. 2-2 keeps on fighting. Aggressive blink from Dawn. He wants this one, but he's not going to get it. CTY keeps on rolling, and now Dawn completely out of mana. Needs a stick charge. Swaps his treads. Will be able to blink. Is he going to go back in? He will. He's got one last scream. They bring down ZSMJ. The mech now popping out from Domination, but I don't think Dawn will survive this one. Jet gets stuck by the Troll Trap. Fenrir makes his way down. He's full on mana. Gets the lift. There's the Fade Bolt. Steals the Carapace. But it looks like that's going to end up being it on the bottom lane. Scrappy fight for both sides, I would think, and the overall trade ends up being...
Lifestealer for Chen.
Yeah, Lifestealer Chen
for Nyx and Quap.
Nyx, Quap, and Tiny as well. I think Tiny was the first kill for Vici under the tower. So 3 for 2 at the end of the day.
I can't remember.
Tower
really great counter gank for the VG. They really showed what they can do with the counter gank, and that kill may have been a bit too little to kill the Lifestealer, but they still managed to kill the Dire team. May it have been their ballsiness? They were too aggressive. They thought, well, there's no heal, so they're probably safe for that. But, well, you can't really count out the Storm Spirit, which now has an orchid on him. So you can see those pickoffs happening really, really soon.
Yeah.
So, well, basically just balls, too much balls from the team of Dire.
Yeah, they've got. I mean, I guess they've got the literal ball in the Wisp. So now they have an excess. But yeah, Vici Gaming, they've picked up the Orchid on the Storm Spirit and immediately looking to gank with it. They've got the Lifestealer loaded up. CT Wagon spot himself an invis. He's smoked, making his way up and around. I think Gonna bump into the Nature's Prophet first. Let's see where he ends up going here. But the first hero that he spots with this gank should probably be dead, unless there's a very swift relocate reaction. Domination in some trouble, gets silenced up. Here comes the TPs, pops the mech as well. But gets dragged back. That's going to be it for him, but Legendary makes his way in. C2Y out of mana, the relocate comes back in. For the counter gank, they're looking towards FY as well. Don't really have any slows. Kiosh chasing forward. He wants the toss back. He's also looking for the tether stun. Not going to be able to get it. Send back onto FY. Gets the open wounds. Buys a little bit of space. Dawn jumping over the top. He's got the Sonic Wave ready. Going to throw down to Fenrir. Is lifted up into the air. And at the end of the day, ends up being a 2-for-1 trade. But the Lifestealer does end up escaping. And 2-2 now in position to defend. But both teams trading back and forward very evenly as far as this game is concerned. Gold is actually in favor of the VG side, while Experience is in favor of Jet. And I mean, as we continue to move through the mid game, Tux, who do you favor right now? What are the right moves for each seed? And is Vichi's advantage only just the tower gold, which is sort of a temporary thing?
Well, towers are stationary gold though. They are just money waiting to be grabbed. So it may provide you with temporary gold. Well, you know what I mean. They give you some gold, but then you can't get the same gold, right? Then again, they're losing with what, 8 kills? I can't get 8 kills, right? They're losing 8 kills.
Yeah, 8 kill discrepancy.
J.E.T are on top of their game. They're counter ganking, they're ganking. And the Stormbeast, why? He's playing a bit too aggressive. You have to be really, really careful on your mana percentage, especially when there's a Nyx Assassin. And you know he's gonna be be there when you're ganking, because they're playing such a high level tournament. They need to be on top of their game, and they are. They're getting kills, they're counter ganking, and they're catching up with the CS. Well, somewhat.
Looks like Vici a little bit sick of dealing with the Wisp relocates onto lone heroes. They're going to group it up as 5. They do have the mech up in the Darkseer as well, something they didn't have for the last big skirmish. And, well, J.E.T team did. So both teams with the mech, the push comes in, the Spirit's going to do their best to defend. Fortification also used, but J.E.T team, this is probably one of the most difficult towers in the entire game for the Dire side to defend, but we'll see what they can do. They've got a BKB picked up for the Queen of Pain. And now C2Y going to be making his way up towards top, but Vici will all move back as a unit, and looks like they're going to be fine. So, I mean, as dangerous as this tower is to defend for the Dire side, because the angle that your angle of approach is kind of narrow, while the Dire can be all the way around the tower. For the Dire to be able to escape, they go straight through this little valley, or this little corridor, and that's exactly where a Relocator or Nature's Prophet can grab you. So Vici, good movement on the whole. They'll back off. Don't get the tower. J.E.T team, they're going to swing this one around. Now looking for some pickoffs. Kiosh walking his way around. Legendary spots out SMJ. Where's the backup? He gets stunned up. The nukes are there as well. Will he drop down the mech? Used to save him, but the combo dropped as well. The vacuum back into everything. The avalanche hits 2-2. 2 for nothing so far. And now Fenrir in some trouble. BKB from Dawn jumps over the top. Stings him up. Drops him down. FY makes his way in from the side just a little bit too late. And Vici Gaming, C2Y without a TP scroll ready, so wasn't really there for the fight. And J.E.T team, a tower and 3 pickoffs, so they're going to be able to get Dawn here. He's got the haste, he gets the drag back just barely. Still on the run, but I think the Orca damage is going to finish him off, but he runs straight into the J.E.T side. He gets stunned up, the combo ready for Kiosh, and FY now in big trouble. Toss toggling to try and save himself, but he will end up dropping. So J.E.T team, despite losing the Queen of Pain, is still killing the Lifestealer again. That's not a trade that they're unhappy to make, and the last couple of minutes working out fantastically for Jet.
Yeah, I think none of us would have expected that J.E.T are doing so well. Before the engagement, the Lifestealer was playing around with Queen of Pain, which Queen of Pain activated a BKB and she joined the fight, but that was like 5 seconds, 10 seconds even of Lifestealer not being in the fight, making them lose their primary damage dealer and making them less useful in the team fight. Well, Jet is just snowballing. At this point, you're just snowballing. You're getting so many kills. That's not funny.
Yeah. I mean, they sort of have the 5-man advantage right now, so in a full 5-on-5 clash, they're kind of tipped to win it. And they're going to keep forcing Vici into 5-manning, because if they don't, then these Nyx Assassin ganks are just going to keep on finding them. And the Vici support's not looking all that rich. They don't have any center wards down. Legendary just walks all the way around, spots Fenrir. Is there going to be a relocate? Pops the Carapace. The Prophet ultimate is bouncing around right now. They're all over the top from the Storm Spirit. They get the silence. Nyx Assassin in some trouble. Vacuum down onto the low ground. The wall dropped as well. Hand of God now used. Dawn with a very aggressive blink forward. Pops the BKB, but will be brought down. Nice micro on the trolls. And ends up being 2 for the tower for J.E.T team. Chen SMJ.
Oh my, this guy is on top of his game.
I really love
Wow.
the triple troll army that he's got going on right now. Just, I mean, it's great for locking down Tiny. It's great for locking
Yeah,
down
you
the
can't
Queen of
look away from
Pain.
that.
Yeah, and Vici Gaming. I mean, they
Yeah.
lose the tower. J.E.T team get caught maybe with a little bit of a miscommunication there. I think, you know, the call was, okay, Nyx Assassin, go and find somebody to relocate gank. But as soon as they realize the entire Vici Gaming side is actually right at the tower, he sort of gets hung out to dry. Dawn decides to jump in to get the kill that he was going for, but ends up being punished for it. So I think a bit of a, you know, on the whole, a bit of a misplay. They're going to lose 2 heroes, and VG will get a response tower on mid, bringing down the tier 2. But I mean, J.E.T team, they've got the advantage as far as mobility is concerned anyways, so losing the tower is maybe not such a big deal.
Well, to be fair, now the throw is happening. It's not that much of a big deal, not that much of a big throw, but it was really stupid for Nyx Assassin to go in there. Yeah, he was in Vendetta, but he didn't manage to do much, and
Dire's
the
bottom
Vendetta
tower
ran out.
is under
So he was
attack.
like, okay, I'm gonna go, because my team is surrounding me. But what didn't he know was that enemy team was right there, and they were ready to kill him. They didn't have enough damage. Queen of Pain blinked in, and she got wrecked by ZSMJ and his super micro. I want to commend this guy. I can't, sadly. But yeah, ZSMJ playing on top of his game. I really like that he manages to play this game really well, even though after transitioning from a carry, and now he's playing heavy micro heroes such as Chen.
Yeah, he's doing really well.
MVP of this game.
He ends up sacrificing a little bit of his farm, was working, again, we talked about how quickly he was working his way towards that Aghanim Scepter, but a couple of deaths and purchasing a gem are going to slow him down. CTY, just some cute plays, is going to get sent back, rolls in, grabs a little bit of farm that might have been out of his grasp otherwise, which is actually going to finish up his BKB, so big pickup for him as far as playing aggressively is concerned. We do have that gem now up. Well, the gem is actually being carried by Darkseer, but Jet still looking for the pickoffs. They head towards the Storm Spirit. Is he going to get stunned up here? They get the pop, they get the stun, in comes the Avalanche, and CTY, no hope of the BKB there. Jet showing that even when you've got a gem, to make full use of it, you have to be 5-manning, because they are just going to pick you off whenever you're anywhere else. So, and they've got the Aghanim Scepter now up in the Tiny, so tower pushes no problem, and Vici, the response from them is going to be to try to push top, but they can't hope to get close to this tier 2 in time. So maybe just a forfeited tower. Is there a buyback on the Storm Spirit? No, so I think that's just this tier 2 for Jet.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Just good movement by Jet.
Radiant structures
They
are
didn't have any
fortified.
wards, seeing that the Storm Spirit was in there, and they got the Storm Spirit just as he arrived in the hard camp. They have such great map
Radiant's bottom
awareness,
tower has fallen.
even without any wards.
Yeah, they've
That's
been,
really commendable. Where are these guys from?
these guys were the winners of the Indonesia qualifier, I believe, of this event.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Damn.
I'd have to
Indonesians
confirm.
got skill.
But yeah, J.E.T team, they're looking pretty good today. And
VG is not at one of lower tier teams in
Dire's
China.
top
definitely
tower
not,
is under
definitely
attack.
not. Vici Gaming, really up there. Kiosh farming pretty aggressively right now, but just feeling confident. Jet, by virtue of being in the Dire, can start looking towards
Dire's
Roshan
top
pretty
tower
soon.
is under attack.
Gold is still in favor of the Vici side, experience still in favor of the Jet side, but just the feeling of this game is that Jet, they keep getting pickoffs, they're moving out this kill advantage, and Vici now looking for some pickoffs of their own. They're smoked up, they've got the bomb primed with the Storm Spirit. Let's see who they can find. Again, Jet, they've got the global mobility ready. Minerva and Kiosh are ready to jump. The rest of the Jet side waiting up on top lane. And Domination getting very close to that Hex. Legendary just finishing up his 4-staff. And Vici, this is a big expedition towards the top lane. There's a tower right here as well, and the Tiny Wisp can just relocate in any way. So it looks like Vici, it's a big trip, but doesn't end up doing too much for them. They're going to try for the tower, but Domination immediately TPs down towards the bottom lane to put some pressure on of his own, and if he threatens that tier 3, the Vici are going to be forced back. So right now, Jet moving well around the map. They get pushed back onto their side a little bit, but they should be able to clear things out and really leverage the Nature's Prophet to not only be able to pick up these towers in the top lane, but try and force themselves into the Roshan pit, I would think, as well. And it should be relatively straightforward for them to grab Rosh. They can either get a relocate pick off, or they can just use the Nature's Prophet split push to be able to grab it.
Well, the Dire team has their positioning over the Roshan area, which they can definitely take. Well, maybe avoid the raiding the ward, but you can take the Roshan with the treants. And Aghanim on Tiny is already available, so he deals lots of damage. They can take the Roshan and secure their advantage, and also improve their advantage. They have like 3 other towers remaining for the raiding team, so the Dire team can take up. And that's like 3k gold. Roshan is like 1k gold as well, so that's 4k gold they can take, and I think that will make them even with the gold. Yeah, they're like 2k gold away from the 0 point of the gold discrepancy. But basically, if you take at least Roshan and 1 tower, you're gonna be equal in terms of gold. And the thing is that VG have been farming the gold advantage, right? While J.E.T, they were killing. So basically, if you manage to catch up with them, they have even 2 less towers than Jet. They have 2 more towers than Jet. And if they kill those 2 towers, I'm afraid that the Dire advantage is so big that VG cannot come back. But then again, we have a Lifestealer who's really great against Tiny. And there's something happening in the Roshan area.
Kind of.
CTY
is he's bouncing around with a regenerant and just gonna jump in and pick up the double damage. That's gonna be about the extent of things there. So yeah, J.E.T team, they had so much trouble with the Darkseer on top lane, and I mean, Kiosh was not farming that well at all. And even now, I mean, 120 CS, 30 minutes into the game, it's respectable, but it's not, you know, it's not super safe lane farm levels. He's still a little ways behind the Lifestealer at the moment. But yeah, it's just been kills and primarily assists for Kiosh right now, and still farming up well. Still has that level 16 to grab, so even more effectiveness to get out of the Aghanim Scepter. And looks like Jet want to bring down this tier 1 tower top lane. Vici Gaming realizing that time might be a little bit short. They want to make use of these BKBs that they've picked up. They've still got that 10-second charge on CTY. They just haven't been the ones initiating to be able to get it legendary. Giving no heed to the tower. He's actually going to be TPing back right now. Jet needs to be careful that they aren't going to be caught because FY has surged forward onto Kiosh. He gets the first hit bash as well. Yes, Kiosh in some trouble. He's going to relocate him out. Yes, he will be able to. Nicely done. Meanwhile, back over with CTY. They catch him out. They bring him down. They get the gem. So that Hex on the Nature's Prophet does its job, and Wisp heads back and down he goes. But I think that's a very worthwhile trade for J.E.T. And were you watching them catch the Storm Spirit, or are you watching the top fight? So run us through what happened there, because I wasn't looking at it.
Attacking the tower. Yep. So CTY was attacking the tower, then there was the creep wave, then the Nyx was teleporting in. So what does CTY do? He balls in towards the Dire team, and then there's the Furion who teleported in the trees in this area, and then he hexed the the Storm Spirit. The Nyx caught up, stun, mana burn, dead. Also there was TP from Tiny, I think? I can't remember. But basically...
Queen of Pain joined the end of the fight, but...
Yeah.
And Storm Spirit didn't even manage to get his BKB off there, so I said, you know, Vici Gaming were looking to defend and maybe get some use out of that BKB, but at the moment he is still sitting on top of a 10-second charge, so that Hex is really paying dividends for J.E.T team right now. And yeah, CTY looking... I mean, he had such a great start to this game. He got the help from the Chen in the lane. He was farming fantastically, but it just goes to show you that, you know, the outcomes of the lanes don't necessarily determine who is going to be doing well in the game. And now they're just going to jump the Storm again, not able to pop the BKB fast enough. The Prophet Ultimate bouncing around. He's hexed up. Down he goes. They even used the Hand of God for that one. Domination gets bashed. Legendary going to try and escape. I don't think he's going to be quite so lucky, but Domination will get out. And the Nyx Assassin for the Storm Spirit, a very favorable trade for J.E.T team. And just the non-stop reminders that Vici Gaming, you cannot be split up, because Tutu is now in some trouble on the top lane. He's going to drop down the wall, does manage to bring down the Wisp, and And now a buyback from the Storm Spirit. They want some pickoffs here. The BKB pops. Dawn in the middle of the wall, trying to escape. Roll over the top. CTY finally going to pop that 10-second BKB charge, but a beautiful ground sprout from Domination forces another roll. Kiosh dropping low. Fenrir gets the lift. Kiosh will now drop. Toss ready for Fenrir if they want to keep on going. And it actually does end up being J.E.T Gaming getting a pretty good punish off there. But it does come at the pretty hefty cost of a buyback on the Storm Spirit. So maybe overall relatively even, but bringing down the Tiny is definitely a big deal. And did they manage to deny the tower? Yeah, they did. So I think Tutu actually playing that one really well there.
Domination is being really defensive on the bottom lane, even though he should be pushing. Maybe he just like, no, he's not this way. He's just great map awareness. What can I say?
I mean, he can't see the Storm Spirit on the map right now, so I think that's the biggest danger. That the storm jumps him, and then that's just it. And FY is not too far away. Abyssal Blade picked up for the Lifestealer as well. So great against the Queen of Pain, great against the Tiny, great against the Nature's Prophet. Just great in general. TP down, Domination gets the Hex. It's shift queued. FY in some trouble. I think they were accepting that this is happening, but will he be able to survive? No, everything dropped. The J.E.T team, the team appears out of nowhere, and Lifestealer. This isn't even a very aggressive place to be farming, but when you're up against the mobility that J.E.T team are packing, it is a little bit too far out. So Jet get another pick off, and just the pickoffs from the Wisp and Domination have been great. And did FY have Rage on cooldown or something there? Because I don't know if he should be caught by a shift queued Hex like that from the Prophet. I think maybe he TP'd into the trees, but just really gets stuck there. The relocate immediately flies in. And that's kind of it. And now they don't have a Lifestealer. This push could get very dangerous very quickly, and I think J.E.T realized that they're going to back off, because with no Nakes and no way for the Nakes to... I mean, even if he buys back, there's no way in heck that he gets to this fight without Boots of Travel. And J.E.T team, I mean, the mobility spells are on cooldown, at least as far as the relocate is concerned, but it's only a few seconds away, and the Nature's Prophet is pretty much always ready with the Hex TP. So yeah, J.E.T Gaming just sort of forced back into their corner of the map. And J.E.T Gaming, what do you do here?
What they are supposed to do.
I mean, J.E.T Gaming, what do you do now? They can't really. They don't seem like they can win the 5-man. They're not winning the pickoff war, and they're not really winning the map control, fight either. So, what do? Just go for the smoke and see if they can get a pickoff and turn it into something significant. They're gonna go for a punish here in their own jungle.
Pick off.
Yeah, that's the problem. Let's see what they can get. Legendary looking around, looking towards CTY. The rest of the J.E.T side is here, but they're TPing everybody in. They stun up. They do stun up the Storm Spirit. He gets hexed as well. Unable to pop the BKB. The Hand of God popped as well, but down he goes. 2 dead. 2-2. BKB'd up the wall, doing reasonable damage. The pop out from the Lifestealer, jumping on top of Kiosh, but the chain stun is a-coming, and now FY in some trouble. Lifted up into the air. Down he goes, and J.E.T team, they drop low, but nobody dead. Domination just trying to escape from the Nyx Assassin illusion there, and we'll be okay. But J.E.T team, nice little team fight, and they keep getting more and more aggressive here, slowly but surely pushing J.E.T Gaming back onto their side of the map. And J.E.T, I feel like we haven't seen an actual 5-on-5 fight from them in a very long time. Every single time it just seems to be J.E.T team, everybody appears out of nowhere, and J.E.T Gaming kind of caught a little bit flat-footed. So Jet gonna pick up Roshan, and things looking fantastic for them at this point.
Roshan has fallen to
They're
the
just
dire.
securing their advantage over the Radiant team. Well, what do you do as VG, right? You're losing team fights. Well, the team fights you have. You cannot pick off. So what do? You turtle. You need to turtle. They're not really suitable for turtles. They don't have that many turtle spells. Only Fadeball by everybody. But they can't do anything else. Jet has studied VG games so good. They're just waiting. They're waiting to gank. They're doing what they are supposed to do. That is getting pickoffs with the Whisper Allocate and the Nyx. Nyx, in my opinion, is the MVP of Jet. He's making so much opening for the Jet team that, well, is defeating the VG team. They're just playing as they're supposed to do.
Yeah, I mean, they picked a strategy, and it looked a little bit shaky at the start. I said, maybe Tiny Wisp defensive tri-lane. It's not that amazing. It's very weak. We saw it get punished by the Darkseer, but it just didn't end up mattering. They got the relocate ganks, and exactly, playing to their lineup strengths, right? Vici Gaming, they got a little bit of the push power out of the Chen, but the early push didn't turn into the base being threatened or anything like that. The Storm Spirit was looking to play his game, but J.E.T team kind of put an end to that just with the ganks. And as we have a mention of ping, I'll just bring up the ping for anybody who's interested. While you can. Okay, so anybody who's interested in the ping, Vici Gaming all sitting around 100 and 160 right now. Meanwhile, Jet anywhere from 100 all the way up to about 200 on the Wisp. So I don't know if that's a spike or whatnot, but okay, that's the ping right there for anybody who's interested. Let's gonna have a slightly longer break.
Well, what can I say? Queen of Pain, instead of picking up a Hex that would dominate the... Well, a Hex is just a common item on Queen of Pain, right? But she picked off a Shiva's Guard. Shiva's Guard. Well, it may slow down the... Well, it's a really good teamfight item, but I think a Hex in their playstyle would have been better because, well, you can chain Hex the Knights, which they are ganky. But Shiva is definitely not that bad. But you're not supposed to team fight. Well,
yeah.
They're not supposed to team fight. They're picking off. I don't want to criticize it.
Yeah, I know. I think I'm going to agree as well that the Hex is probably a better all-around item for the Queen of Pain, because I mean there's a couple of very important targets with magic immunity right now, and if you can get 2 hexes back to back on the Lifestealer before he rages, the Darkseer before he BKBs, or the Storm Spirit before he BKBs, then that's just a dead hero, and that means that they're completely out of the fight. So I think the Hex on the whole is the nicer pickup. The slow on the Lifestealer is good, but keeping him pigged up for the entire time is even better. So I'm surprised that Don's gonna end up going for that. We could even still see a Hex at some point. Chen is gonna actually a Hand of God to keep his creeps alive there on the bottom lane. So I mean, he's got the Aghanim Scepter. It's only a 30-second cooldown. Tiny's got the Manta. Don't let this guy get near your buildings because he will get rid of them very, very quickly at this point. And J.E.T team still have this Aegis up on Dawn. He's ready to play this very aggressively. Domination pushing in the roll over the top. CTY, what's he going to try and do here? They jump out. FY looking for this. Can Minerva bail out the Tiny? No, they both end up dropping as they get vacuumed back into the wall. Hand of God now popping. Legendary in some trouble. Loses the gem. Big pickups here for Vici Gaming, and showing that despite being on the back foot, they are definitely not out of this just yet. And the J.E.T team get caught. This time it's the J.E.T team getting caught a little bit on the back foot on the bottom lane. So Vici, good awareness, and do get a punish on what I would say is a bit of greedy positioning from the Dire squad.
Hey, they have been greedy all game long, so that's what you have to expect, that at some point their greediness will be punished. Well, that's the thing. They may be down on kills and now maybe gold, but their carries are still farmed. They still have Armlet and a Victor Blade on the Lifestealer. Well, he hasn't gained an item in like 7 minutes or so, I think.
He just keeps on dying in the fights.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
They can still
Dire's
take
structures
team
are
fights.
fortified.
And I think at this point
Radiant's
their
top
team fight
tower
is
is
quite
under
stronger
attack.
because a Tiny, he's stat reliant. He doesn't really... Well, his base damage is the thing why he does most damage. And getting damage items is not a thing on Tiny, right? And because there's a Darkseer, there's a Wall of Replica. And what does Wall of Replica do? It takes the Tiny and he makes him work for you at 90% damage. And he's going for 140% damage. That's a lot. And it's such a huge booster team. So Vici Gaming, if they get a 5v5 without any pickoffs, they can and will probably win the team fight. But here's the thing, Jet don't want to team fight. They want to pick off, just like this Nyx. This Nyx is just walking around searching for kills. Vici is clumped up as 5. If you want to gank some of them, you have to gank all of them. Well, Jet is currently not making a lot except farming, and well, they can't do anything else really. Their bottom lane is split pushed. Well, Fury can go there. Top lane is probably their next destination because that's 1k free gold, free 1k gold. So yeah. Maybe this is the time we will see a 5-man versus 5-man. Finally, we will see.
Yeah, we might actually see a proper team fight from both sides, and we'll see how it ends up playing out. I mean, yeah, talking about the tiny illusion, if you can get that thing going for you in a fight, that can be great. Speaking of tiny illusions, we've got the Manta Star welling away in the tower. Fortification is now going to be popped. J.E.T team needs to be careful. Dawn does still have the Aegis. I mean, having it on the Queen of Pain means that she can play more aggressively, but the problem is still there that the Nyx has the Abyssal Blade. Hand of God pops off, the Chen creeps just chasing in. But I mean, I'm not sure if I necessarily agree with the Aegis on the co-op. I mean, if Tiny dies once, then Wisp is probably going to die anyway, and a lot of Tiny's effectiveness comes from having the Wisp there, but roll in, lots of aggression onto the Tiny. He's in some trouble. Can they bring him down? They do manage to. The wall drops as well. Domination gets hit by the Abyssal Blade, silenced as well. Looks like he's going to end up dropping, and CTY just keeps on rolling as the Hand of God pops off. Maneuver going to try and TP his way out. Will be able to do so, but Legendary now is in trouble. Pops the Carapace, but I don't think it's going to matter too much. Just trying to put some more damage down to the CTY, but Vici Gaming with the 3-hero pickoff, and Tiny just absolutely melting there. Wisp came in with the overcharge trying to save him, but it doesn't end up being enough, and Tiny starting to feel like he really needs... I almost want to say that he really needs, you know, AC Butterfly at this point, just to be able to deal with the Lifestealer's damage, because FY just jumps him, CTY drags him back, and he's completely helpless and is just getting bursted down in every single fight.
Yeah, he needs survivability, and that's BKB AC Butterfly. But the most important thing is, they remove the Tiny, there's no damage, they win.
Yeah,
that's
exactly. I mean, the Nature's Prophet is nice. He's got an MKB, he's right-clicking a little bit, but he just keeps getting jumped by Storm. You know, after they've killed off the Tiny, and it's very difficult for him to stand his ground and do what he wants to do. Kiosh gonna run in, looking to force back the push here, and they will be able to nuke down the wave. Hand of God again gonna keep the Chen creeps alive. So ZSMJ very attached to these little guys, but that's gonna end up being it for the push. J.E.T team respawn. The Aegis ends up fading, I believe so. Yeah, J.E.T team, things were looking very promising for them, but gold is now in the Radiant favor by 5k, and experience swinging back to even. And the J.E.T team, these last two engagements have gone really sour, and CTY almost has himself a hex. So I was going to say that maybe the BKB isn't as important for Tiny this game, and you know, he could afford to go for AC/Butterfly for survivability, but with that hex up on the Storm Spirit, BKB starting to look essential, and Dawn's gonna get jumped on mid, the drag back, and they burst him down in time. He pops the BKB, will be able to blink away, but still a victory for Vici there. Getting the BKB charge out only for a little bit of a mana investment. So yeah, things looking good, and the Hand of God keeps on rolling for ZSMJ right now.
I really don't see the Shiva. Why?
The Shiva instead of the Hex. Yeah.
And you're not using it. That's really strange.
Yeah, Relocate's gonna go mid. They're looking for FY. He's in a little bit of trouble. Still very tanky, however. AC keeping him alive. He's got the Rage. Drum charge as well. Choosing not to use it right now. Toggling the armlet. Kiosh gonna try and chop him down. The spirit damage there as well. He gets lifted up into the air. And right as they head back, they will be able to finish him off. I feel like he really should have popped the drum. I mean, it probably... I don't think he necessarily escapes, but at least he has a slightly better chance. And FY going down, 2-2 tower, going to be dropped on top lane. Kiosh somehow not managing to get the last hit there, despite being tiny. And Jack going to take it as an opportunity to put down some more aggressive forwards, ready for more relocate pickoffs. So the pickoff game plan seems to have kicked in again, and they are just going to try and push down middle lane. Does Nyx have buyback? He does not. So they're going to push it to try and force that buyback, which isn't actually there, so they should just be able to get this tier 2. No fortification up, and Fenrir needs to be careful. I feel like they're not actually defending this tower. He needs to be careful he doesn't get caught. Dawn just wants some more Chen creeps. Legendary walks very aggressively up onto the high ground. Will force staff himself back out. Vici, this is critical times, and Tutu, oh, he wants the Hex, but he might be in trouble here because he doesn't actually have a TP scroll. He's going to go into the tree line, but... wow, that was really dangerous from the Darkseer there. I mean, We saw some Jet dots converging towards the secret shop, and I think they just assumed he snagged the Hex and TP'd out, but didn't end up being the case.
Well, Queen of Pain is looking forward to picking. Yep, and now she picks up a
Now,
Hex.
yeah, now she's going for the Hex. Does she have that one finished? In fact,
too little. It may be too little, too late.
Yeah, it's.
What did you say?
Hmm?
What did you say before my?
No, nothing relevant. Don't worry. I was just about to talk about the gems on. I mean, Vici Gamer are actually holding on to 2 gems right now, so I'm surprised that Jet have as much vision as they do. Vici have just apparently been. I mean, most of these wards were placed fairly recently, but it does kind of show that Vici have just been 5-manning. They haven't been off farming in dangerous positions or anything like that. And Tiny Wiz, they're just going to be TPing straight in with the relocate. The Manta Style pops off. Fortification used. Vici, can they do anything about this? 4, 3, 2, 1. They're looking for the pick off, but they have already escaped. So Jet putting on a little bit more pressure and forcing back heroes. They're just gonna head straight into the Roshan pit. Really nicely played by them. A risky move by anyone's standards, but looks like it will be able to secure them this next rush. So we'll see Vici Gaming making their way across right now.
It's so great, such a great bait by the times. And then again, you cannot afford to lose team fights for Vici because there's Tiny Wisp and there's a Furion. They will take your Raxus.
See why they get the Hex onto Dawn. He's in some trouble. He's going to be brought down before he can pop the BKB, before he can use that freshly acquired Hex. Legendary now in trouble. Domination going to pop off his BKB, but he gets immediately Abyssal Bladed. The wall drops down. Minerva on the run gets lifted up into the air. Jet, they got Roshan down, and Tiny did manage to grab himself. Did manage to grab the Aegis and run away, but ends up being Jolie team losing 3. Do they have buybacks available? Nature's Prophet does. He's going to try and threaten Vici Gaming away from this mid lane push, but they keep on going for it. Queen of Pain down and no buyback. And Wisp also going to buy back. Jet realizing that they pretty much have to defend this one. And Vici Gaming, they all take a brief moment on mid and they're like, do we actually want to push? ZSMJ backs off for a second, now walks his way forward, so it looks like Vici are going to be forcing this one out. Maybe thinking that, I mean, the Queen of Pain could, in theory, still be threatening the buyback, so I think Vici are just going to play this one safe, especially since Tiny does have that Aegis now up.
Yes. I don't know, we'll see. And the SMJ getting picked off.
So ZSMJ just not taking the safe path home there. We'll get picked off. 2-2 in a little bit of trouble. He's still the fastest pig alive, however. Looks like he will be able to escape. BKB pops off, and he will end up TPing back to base. What charge? Oh, it's a 6-second BKB charge, so not a huge loss for him. I'm just playing it safe.
Better safe than sorry.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's a chance that somebody else is there, that the Queen of Pain is pretty close, just jumps, hexes you, and that can be it. I mean, Darkseer dead, with no buyback available, and Jolie team with the tiny Manta. Very quick at bringing down towers. So this game is really balanced on knife point right now. And again, I'm going to comment on the fact that I feel that Jet have way more vision than they're actually entitled to. They've got some smart high ground wards, you know, so Vici have to invest a little bit of extra time to be able to get rid of them. Even though they have the gem. They have 2 gems at the moment, I think. Yeah, so Jet, a little bit of extra confidence just from having that up, and Vici, they load up the Lifestealer Bomb one more time. They're going to look for a pickoff on top lane. Big roll in from CTY. Who can they grab? They're rolling towards Dawn. They get the Hex up. It looks like he might survive this time around. Nice force staff back. Legendary in some trouble. Gosh, jumping straight in. Wall drops down. Hand of God popped as well. CTY on the back lines. He's pigged up. 2-2 in some trouble, but he's already dropped the majority of his spells. He's going to be the first to drop here. Dawn also brought down. Keep on fighting. Down goes the Wisp. The Tiny Illusions doing their job. FY, force staff out. CTY also on the tree, going to be sent back to base by the Chen. ZSMJ joining the fight. One more stun. They're going out, but now Legendary in some trouble. Kiosh going to come in, just body blocking the Lifestealer away. Going to throw out the Avalanche, tossing back to the Chen creep. They keep on right-clicking, and down goes FY. Ends up being 3 for 2 the trade. They're looking towards ZSMJ as well. Domination jumps in. He's got the Hex, but ZSMJ with the Force Staff. Looks like he will be okay there, but at the end of the day, Vici Gaming lose 3 in exchange for 2. And Jolie team, I have to say, nicely taken team fight for them. Vici a little bit over eager perhaps on the initiation there. I mean, they They rolled in, but Quap actually managed to get the blink away, and then rolled a little bit deeper to where Jet were actually waiting S5, all set up. So this game is still very tense and still definitely could still definitely go either way. But Jolie team fight's still working out okay, and they're still sort of playing that pick-off plan.
This is so back and forth.
Yeah.
The major problem why they lost the team fight was city-wide. He rolled in and hexed Queen of Pain, but she got a haste. That's one thing why she survived. Well, long enough for her to be a nuisance. And second thing, she got force staffed, so the initiation that happened against her worked against Storm because he used a lot of mana. And because he jumped in for such a quite of a distance, his teammates could not pick off the speed that he turned in. So basically, everyone was too late to the party, and there's a relative.
Yeah, we've got Sprouts on the Fenrir. He's gonna force staff himself out. So he's gonna end up being okay. No, it's actually ZSMJ's force staff bailing him out there. Hand of God used as well. Unless that's going to end up being it. Relocate also thrown into that fight. Jet just desperate for a single pick-off to try and get up onto the high ground. The only buybacks available right now are Tiny and Nyx Assassin. Everybody else is 900, 1,000 gold away, or it's on cooldown. So kind of what you see is what you get as far as these fights are concerned. Unless Tiny buys back and then maybe gets relocated into the fight. He's very farmed. He's got his AC finished and can start working towards either a BKB. Or a butterfly relatively soon. Vici just gonna 5-man push down mid, and Jet not gonna try for the base race or the trade at all. They're just gonna be making their way back towards the middle lane. And Vici need to be careful here.
It all depends on initiation. If you can silence if you can silence Hex and kill the Darkseer before the team fights, you can basically reserve yourself, and you can just protect yourself from a tiny illusion, which is that once again aura and the stats base. Basically, you protect, and there's a relative on the bottom lane, and with the tower melt. That's why you cannot afford to die. At least every single pickup you want.
No, Wisp ends up dropping. This is disaster. Kyoshi's gonna drop. He's got the Aegis, but he's right at the enemy doorstep. It was going to be reclaimed soon anyway, but looks like he's now in trouble. Gonna try and fight his way out. He gets the tower, but I think that's just it for him. Abyssal Blade. FY getting bashed a little bit on the craggy exterior, but Minerva just not tanky enough to survive there. Will end up dropping. They lose the Tiny. He's got buyback, but I feel like Vici can force him to use it, and it was such a nice attempt, but I mean, Wisp was probably just a little bit too close to the Tiny there, and the wall damage ends up being pretty significant. So Vici, now a big opportunity for them, and we called this game get back and forth, and that's definitely the case right now. Nyx Assassin has an ethereal blade, so that's, I mean, that's not completely out of the ordinary, but interesting that he's actually got that much farm. And Tiny will be forced to buy back as Vici threatened in the middle.
Yeah, back to what I was saying. They're desperate to get the pick-off, because a pick-off can mean that your axes are gonna go down. Look, they relocated and they brought down a full tower. Well, yeah, they died. That's bad. That's really bad. But they took down the tower, and they can do exact same thing to your axes. So if you die with a single hero, you're gonna lose a team fight. Well, not maybe lose it, but if you don't have a buyback, you will definitely not do well.
Yeah.
They can easily kill your team. Well, not easily, but they can kill your team, and they can transition into even a GG push. They can kill your throne faster than you can revive. So yeah, every single desperate pick-off that they want is fully justified. And we see a great movement by VG and Jet.
Yeah, so
a smoke up by Jet, hoping to pick off someone, and VG are just backing off now.
Yeah, so Vici looking for the pickoff. They lead the Chen creeps the split push on bottom lane. The Hand of God keeps on popping to keep the Chen creep push going. We've got, actually, it's going to be Crystallis heading towards Daedalus as the choice here for Vici Gaming, and the split push from both directions is forcing heroes, periodically back to their base. We've got 5-man excursions outside, looking for this pickoff again. The game is still balanced on knife edge. Pickoffs are key right now. Who's got buyback available? The Radiant have a couple, but no huge significant heroes. And Tutu walks out up onto the hill. Will he be brought down? He's still alive. The Hand of God keeps him up. The mech popping up as well. He pops the BKB. Wall dropped. Kiosh. They've got an illusion, but he's not actually fighting. Sonic Wave thrown out. Legendary now in trouble. Gets dragged back. Lifted up into the air as well. Domination pops the BKB. Stands his ground. Keeps on fighting. The relocate goes back defensively. No, it's actually down towards the bottom lane. Tiny Wisp. They want the Rax. Can they get it? Backdoor protection is actually here. And now Tutu just walks down. Fenrir gets left, but well, not Fenrir, but Kiosh gets left behind. And will he be caught here? This could be trouble. It's only Fenrir now making his way in. But Jet, team fight sort of ends in disaster for them. They lose 3. They had to relocate, but don't end up advancing their position on the map at all. And I guess a little bit over eager. Well, just going for the racks, and it's now back on full HP. So they lost 3 and effectively got nothing out of it. And now Vici Gaming gonna try and do something on the swing back. Let's see what they can get here. Lifestealer bomb loaded up.
I'm kind of surprised they didn't get that much damage. And the bottom lane.
Kiosh gets hexed up. He's in some trouble. The second hex makes its way in. They drag him back. He's gonna be bursted down. 90 seconds. No Tiny. Buyback from the Wisp. Buyback from the Nature's Prophet. Vici Gaming find themselves right outside the racks on middle lane as the Chain Creep army pushes in. Roshan is just about to respawn as well. So plenty of pickups available for them. Tiny, no buyback, 3 minutes. If Vici are keeping tabs on those timings, then they should be able to get something here. And Joe Elite team, I mean, both teams very fast as far as the base push is concerned. FY gonna get hit by the Ethereal Blade, forced back. VG stalled for now. Let's see. I think they're just going to keep on forcing it so long as Tiny is dead. Nature's Prophet not really able to go and do any kind of split pushing right now. Just has himself a Yasha. So also trying to get that Manta Style up for more split push power, but Vici straight in. Dawn jumps in super aggressively with the blink, but he doesn't have a BKB. He gets hexed up. He gets dragged back. He gets brought down. Now Domination in some trouble as well. Gets bashed up. Nice Ethereal Blade. Saves his life from Legendary, but not quite enough as CTY rolls over the top, finishes it off. Dawn now with the buyback, but Vici have already gotten the racks. They're going to try and get out here. The wall shepherding all of Jet away. Another Hand of God is going to pop off. And Jet, they lose their axe, they lose a bunch of heroes, and I don't know if they're even going to be alive here to try and contest Roshan or contest another push on the bottom lane. No Nature's Prophet, he just recently bought back, and this is really starting to look like the beginning of the end.
Yes. Well, to be honest, Rax is at this point of time 57 minutes. You can hold that off, especially with the timing that has
Legendary gets picked off. Kiosh tries to make his way into the fight, pops up the Manta Style, but just keeps getting hexed, keeps getting bashed. Is almost brought down. The overcharge keeping him alive for now, but that's it. 2 dead, no buyback on the Tiny, and GG gonna be called by Minerva. A back and forth game. 57 minutes of slogging from both sides, but Vici will end up taking it. And yeah, Tux, I mean, Jet definitely looked like they had a window of opportunity there. Where did it all go wrong? Was it just those 2 back-to-back 3-0s on the bottom lane and then the top lane where Vici really turned it around?
I feel like VG, they show their experience. Jet team was all around the ganking and picking off, and the VG team, they just stay around and they just basically denied every single gank they had. Yeah, they have picked off some life steal, but they dragged this long enough for them to come back to the game, and well, there you go. A wall rape got wrecked. Tiny wrecked by himself, and I'm not sure what the Shiva had to do with everything. He had such a great game to begin with, but why do you make a Shiva? You are not snowballing that hard. So yeah, that's, I think, Shiva pickup and no BKB on Tiny. That's what made them lose the game, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think Tiny getting hexed, Tiny getting bashed ended up being a really big problem. And just Kiosh, I mean, things were looking good while he was comboing people down with the Avatos, but as soon as that became less relevant and he really needed to pick up the right click, Vici just kind of had his number. They were vacuuming around, they were locking him down, and that kind of ended up being it. So guys, this is the AMD Premier League. It was Vici Gaming up against Jet. It's only game 1 of a best of 3, so Vici now leading 1-0, but Jet still with an opportunity to come back in Game 2 and show us more of their stuff. I've been Basekip. It's been a pleasure casting for you guys. If you want to leave me any feedback as far as the cast was concerned today, and then you can leave me an email at basekipdota@gmail.com. And joining me today was Tux, who I believe will be joining me for the next one.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Okay.
I love this.
Okay, fair enough. So, I'm Basekip, he's Tux. It's been a pleasure so far, guys. We'll be back with Game 2, probably in 5 or so minutes. In the meantime, sit back, relax, maybe go get a snack, something like that. We'll see you soon.